Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. So if you are new here, this is, well, or even if you are a regular to this channel, this is a different type of video today. Something I want to do more of on here because the channel is Sarah Hedges Creates. So it's like creating art or creating anything creative really, but creating art is what I've mainly posted on here. But I also want to post about the things that I do creatively with fabric, so like sewing and things like that. This video is talking about my venture into quilting. So I'm just going to put the caveat out there that I am not an expert in quilting at all. I am brand new to quilting. So I'm not brand new to sewing at all. I'm not brand new to sewing at all, although I haven't done any sewing for years, but I'm not brand new to sewing. Again, not an expert in sewing, but I'm not brand new to it. I have wanted to buy a new sewing machine for absolutely yonks. I bought a new sewing machine in 2024, so like last year, because the sewing machine that I had since college. So you're talking well over 20 years ago, and you know, it just wouldn't cut the mustard, and it was probably in need of repair and things like that. So that sadly went the distance. And I have bought myself, not an expensive sewing machine by any means, but I bought myself a sewing machine because I wanted to make a quilt. And then I'm obviously going to do more sewing, hopefully. Well, I am doing more sewing because I have made my quilt, but it was really to make a quilt. And I wanted to make a quilt for my daughter because I wanted to make her something so she could look back, you know, as time goes on and goes, my mum made that for me. And, you know, I'm going to make her obviously more than one as time goes on, but I wanted to make a quilt, a very simple quilt for my first foray into quilting. So she could say, my mum made this for me. So I have finally finished the quilt. I finished it in September, and the only thing I really want to add to it is a label on the back, which I will do. I'm looking at different ways I want to do that, but I need to add a label to it, or I'd like to add a label to it more. So, but yeah, it's finished, and I'm really happy and proud of myself. It's a very simple quilt, but I'm really proud of myself because it's took me longer than I thought it would, but I haven't been doing it regularly. So, and obviously things have happened in between, such as moving house, etc. So it's took me longer than I originally wanted it to. However, that doesn't matter because it really shouldn't matter how long it takes you to do it. The important thing is that you're trying to do it. And then the even more important thing is if you finally manage to finish it. So I don't think I've ever said on here my like kind of background with art. Maybe I have, I can't remember. So I did 2 years of art and design at college, and then I did 2 years of fashion and textiles at college. So I've always had a love of like art, being creative, textiles, you know, like just everything about like that side of thing. I used to do a lot of crafting, so like making cards, very creative, like to use my hands, lots of ideas. So yeah, and I absolutely loved fashion and textiles. Really love the textile element of it, particularly the experimentation with textiles. So maybe that is something that I will do a bit more of. I don't know. For now, I'm just quite happy to be back using a sewing machine and doing a bit of hand sewing. I've got more ideas on that. So I'm hoping to share more of that journey on this channel, because it is like a creative channel. So I think it's important to show what I'm kind of into creatively. This is my quilt that I made for my daughter, and I just did squares. You know, I just cut some squares, and I did one diagonal of, I might insert a clip into this. I might film it, insert a clip, I'll see how I get on. But I did a diagonal hand stitch quilting across the quilt, and I only did that one way. I probably could have gone the other way, but I thought one would be quite enough, and I'm quite happy with that. And then I've backed it in this in 2 fabrics, because I bought, the one that I bought wasn't big enough. I think you can get extra. This is things I need to look into, buying, you know, the extra wide quilting backing and things like that, because it's my first quilt. Obviously I'm new to buying all of the fabrics and things like that, so buying the fabrics and like backing fabrics and finding where's the best place to buy them and things like that. I did find a fantastic, it was like this amazing like fabric cave of a shop in Darlington, which is in the northeast where I live, and it was just full. It was like honestly full of all of this fabric. I had no idea it was there, and I went with my mum and my daughter. We all went together, we had a look around, and I bought some of the fabric from that shop, and then I bought some online. Might have got a couple of bits from Boys, but I don't think they were from Boys, because Boys has the odd bit of like cotton and quilting fabric and stuff. Not masses, it's never masses. And I think I got this strawberry one from like Hobbycraft, so it was like a mix of fabrics. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go back to that shop, and if I go back I'll film it for you, because it was absolutely amazing. They had all sorts. And then I was on my way out, they had some Liberty fabric. I was like, oh, but because I really would like to get some Liberty fabric, so that might be something that I do down the line, and I will film it for you. And there was really no like theme to this quilt. It was just things that she likes and things that she, you know, that mean something to her. So yeah, I cut up the squares, I've obviously sewn them all together, hand quilted it, and then I backed it with this smiley face fabric, which I really loved. It's so fun. And then so it's like maybe 3/4 smiley on the back, and then 1/4 of this strawberry fabric. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't the smiley face and strawberries, like, you know, it's not something you would normally put together, but I think it works well for this, and it is just a quilt made with love. So it doesn't have to, for me, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's as in everything has to perfectly match. It's more, these are the things that you like that I've picked, or things that I've picked that I think you will like, and I've put it together for you, you know. So it's that type of project. So I backed it with this strawberry and the smiley, and then thankfully I had enough smiley fabric to do the binding, so it's all bound in the smiley fabric, which I absolutely love. So that's the binding, and I think that's really fun. The main colours, so this is the only stipulations that she had really, is she wanted it kind of pinks and blues, so they kind of more pinky peaches, or pinky peach even, pinks and blues, and she wanted a bit of Hello Kitty in there, cats, and then obviously I just picked other bits that I thought she would love, and I showed her the fabrics as we'd gone, and she loved every single one I picked. And I also put some plain fabric in. So yeah, I'm dead happy with that, really pleased, and I will be thinking of a way to put a label onto it, because I really want to label any like quilts that I make. I've got plans in mind for a quilt that I want to make her with her baby clothes. So we did have a memory bear made with some of her like first ever like little baby girls and things like that, and I absolutely love it. But I thought we had still quite a few left. We've got like a couple of memory boxes, and I thought, do you know what, rather than them just being in a box, some of them, I think it would be quite nice to cut them and make them into some sort of either quilt or pillow cushion or whatever, so she can have that as a keepsake as well. There might be enough to make two. I have picked them out and I've washed them, and I've also picked some plain fabric to go with them. So that is my next, I would say, we'll say it's a quilt project. Well, it is a quilt project. I haven't decided how to do it. I'm like kind of thinking about how I want to cut them up, because obviously this one was just basic squares, but I kind of want to do a bit of a plique as well. So we'll see. Anyway, so that is my quilt and my next kind of quilt project. But that kind of quilt project, that is going to be something that's it's going to be a bit like this one. It's going to run alongside other things, because now I've got like all sorts of things in my head of like quilting projects that I want to make. The memory one probably will run alongside other things. What I'm going to show you is the things I bought and the things that I would say you don't really need a lot to start quilting, but these are the things I bought to make my start. Again, I'm not an expert. There's loads of people who quilters on here on YouTube who you're much better following, and I might put a few of them below who I do follow. I'll definitely put Kate's channel. Absolutely amazing wealth of videos on there, so do go and have a look on there. One of the things I did buy, this is not a must at all, but it was just one thing that I bought, was Kate has this quilt planning notebook, the Last Homely House quilt planning notebook. So I planned out my daughter's quilt in here, what I wanted to do, some measurements. It's at the back, it's got quilt sizes, so you can go off that. It gives you some idea, and it's got the gridded paper, so you can plan out a design and you can write your notes, you can write a shopping list. It's got some quilt block designs in. So I did buy that. I can't remember how much it was, but it might have been £12. I'm not sure. I'll put it below. But yeah, that was something that I bought. Other things that I thought just to get me started. Obviously got the sewing machine, brand new sewing machine, because I thought, well, if I want to start sewing again, I need like a sewing machine. And it wasn't a massively expensive sewing machine, but it is a decent sewing machine for the price that I got, and it works really well for what I want it for. Obviously, if things goes on down the line, it may be something years and years and I might want to upgrade, but for now it will be completely fine. I did some research on it as well. I think it's important to research, look at reviews, and see if it is for the price that you want to pay, whether it's the best one that you can get. So I would also always say research. So a cutting mat. This is I think it's about an A3 size cutting mat. I have cutting mats in my art studio, but obviously they have like pastel smudges on them. I do wipe them down, but they've got like paint on them and things like that. They're not something that I want to use for sewing. I wanted it to be clean and just for fabric only. Okay, so I got a new cutting mat for sewing, and this is a double-sided, purple on one, pink on the other. I think that was just from Amazon, but you could buy them from Hobbycraft, I'm presuming, or crafting sites. Just thinking what else I bought. I have one quilting ruler. I'm looking at getting a couple of other quilting rulers in the sizes of the things that I kind of thinking about making, so like future thinking. Kate uses, I think it's a 2.5 inch like long ruler, and I thought that would be really handy. And then I want to get a square ruler, but it's just, I might get a couple of size square rulers, but I got this one to start. So this is the Quilted Bear. I think it's a 6.5 inch by 12 inch ruler. That is coming really handy just for cutting squares and binding strips. So you can do, I probably don't need to buy other rulers, but they come in handy because then it just sometimes makes things easier. So cutting mat, quilting ruler, rotary cutter for cutting your strips and your squares. And so, and I also bought some of this Aurifil. Kate talks a lot about Aurifil threads, and I bought this one for the machine. Or did I hand quilt with this? I might have hand quilted with that as well. Yeah, no, I hand quilt. I didn't use this in the machine, but I hand quilted with this. I can't remember what weight it is. It might be 50. Anyway, that's the Aurifil grey. But what I want to do is buy some different colours of the Aurifil. There's a 12 weight that Kate talks about, which is good for hand quilting. Like, it's got a good, obviously, thickness to it for hand quilting. So, and I think I want to do more of that. I don't know what I've done there, but so I might look at getting some more thread, but I bought this grey, like a warm grey colour. Now, I wouldn't say this is a must, but I did buy one of these, and it's just, I don't think it was very expensive. Some beeswax for pulling thread through so it doesn't catch in your fabric. It slides through the fabric better and doesn't knot up as much. Binding clips. I did buy some of these, although I don't think you necessarily need them. I didn't use them for the quilt that I did for my daughter. I have used them here because I've put the binding clips on, but I haven't sewn them yet. You could use pins. I think the binding clips are just a little bit better for doing this. You probably could use it on your quilts. I didn't use it on my quilt. I used pins. Yeah, I used pins because I stitched it on with the machine. I didn't hand stitch, whereas I'm going to hand stitch these. So I bought some quilting clips, but again, not something that you necessarily need. I'm just trying to think. Oh, and it didn't have any chalk. I used to have tailor's chalk years ago when I was doing fashion at college, but didn't have any, so I bought some tailor's chalk for obviously marking out my lines as I was hand quilting. So I'm talking about things besides fabric and wadding. Things that I bought to start me off on my little quilting journey is a cutting mat, a quilting ruler. I definitely think this is a good ruler to start with. I mean, like, what do I know? I've only just started, but I found this really useful. 6.5 by 12 inch the Quilted Bear ruler, a rotary cutter, tailor's chalk, Aurifil thread, which, although I didn't use this in the machine, you could use it in the machine, so that would work for machine and hand quilting, and some beeswax. So let's have a look. Is that all in shot? Yes, it is. Obviously I bought myself this quilt planning notebook because who doesn't like a notebook? Who doesn't like, you know, it's like a quilt version of a sketch pad. So I thought, yes, we'll get one of them so I could plan stuff out in it. And yes, that is what I bought. Now, what I will show you is something that I found very useful when I was hand quilting, and I've had this since I was in college, and it came in very, very handy. Now, this is in centimeters, so obviously everything in quilting is inches, which I'm not used to working in because I like centimeters, like using centimeters. But I thought this this was really useful for when I was hand quilting. This is the one I used to draw my lines on. Now again, you could just use your quilting ruler. Don't need this. I just had it. I've had it for absolute years, since I was in college, so 20 plus years. Thought I would get some use out of it, and I did use it for hand quilting, so would use that. I remember using this for making patterns in college. Very useful ruler. So yeah, that is what I bought and used to make my first quilt. And yeah, I mean, I think like with anything, and I'll say the same for like art supplies. When I first started getting back into art, I just bought the odd thing. I mean, now, as you know, I've seen some of my art hauls on this channel, and you know, I buy all sorts. I think with fabrics and that, now I'm back into it, I can very easily, I think, get carried away. I've got quite a lot of fabric already ready to do something with. I mean, say quite a lot considering I'm a beginner quilter, but quite a lot of fabric to do something with already. Quite a number of ideas of things I want to do already. So yeah, I think you could easily get carried away with wanting to buy all the things. I'm trying not to get carried away with buying all of the things. If I can use what I have, great, and then just buy fabric if I want to buy the fabric, or use up some fabric that I've, you know, had spare from things, like using scraps and because I've got some ideas for that as well. So, but like I say, you could easily get carried away with buying all of the things. It took me a while to get carried away with buying, like, we'll say all the things, loads of things for art. You know, you could just buy all sorts, and you could just, you know, you could spend a ridiculous amount of money. And I don't think you need to do that to start. You really don't need to do it to start. And I think Kate talks about that as well. You really don't need to spend a ridiculous amount of money to start, because even though I bought a sewing machine to replace my old one, if you wanted to start quilting, you could do some hand stitch quilting. Like they talk about English paper piecing, which I haven't done any yet, but that's something on my list of something that I might want to try. And that's hand stitching. So, you know, you could do that to start. So you don't necessarily need even a machine to start. So yeah, there are things I've got on my list of things I would like to buy to expand, or, you know, make things a bit easier, so to speak, but they're not things that I definitely need. But if I do buy some more things, I might do like a little quilting haul, so to speak, or show you as time goes if I have added anything to like my quilting equipment. I was trying to think of the word there, quilting equipment. But, you know, this, you know, would get you started if you have the basics. And when I talk about the basics, I mean in things like scissors, needles, pins, you know, a seam ripper, one of these, you know, like basics that you could get away with. You know, if you've already got things like that, then you can get these. So that is my little journey into quilting so far. If you want to see more of this, let me know, and I will film more of it. Obviously, the majority, well, all of my videos so far have been about art on this channel. On Instagram, I've shown my quilting progress just in my stories, nothing on the grid, but in my stories I've shown every now and again bits of quilting progress. So do follow on there if you want to see something. But if you want to see more of these videos into, I guess, rediscovering my creative journey into textiles, as well as, you know, like continuing my art journey, then just let me know. And thank you for watching. Do take care. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.